So good evening. As you can see, I'm a one-man band right now, and I am a solo artist. Lewis is joining me. He's just finishing up on a show. He'll be here as quick as he can be. But big up to everybody inside. Hopefully we will have a wonderful Friday. The sun is shining. The weather is sweet. Makes me want to move my dancing feet. I haven't got any dancing feet. I need WD-40, baby. I am way too old to be strutting my stuff. Them days are long gone. Anyway, hopefully you're all well, man. Hopefully you're all good. We've got loads to talk about. Manchester Derby when Lewis gets here. Obviously, Thomas Partey, where is he? Where's Fabio Vieira? I think the manager's done his press conference. Let's have a look while we wait for Lewis. Jesus and Partey to miss the Sheffield United game. Interesting. Very interesting. Thomas Partey is not injured. I can tell you that for nothing. But anyway, here he is, the start of the show.
How are you,
mate?
Yeah, no, mate, I'm very good, man. I'm very good. Yeah, obviously big games at the weekend, innit? But yeah, man, everything's going well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm good. I've had a bit of a little cough. Yeah, and the amount of times I've blown my nose. You know when you blow your nose so much it cuts your nose? It's killing me. Absolutely killing me. But other than that, I'm all good. I need to get some softer tissues, like the ones with aloe vera or something in them.
Mate, there's nothing worse than them cheap fucking tissues, bro.
These cheap Spanish tissues ain't the one, mate. I can tell you that. But yeah, there's loads to talk about, man. Obviously, you lot are playing at Old Trafford. Tottenham are playing tonight. I'll be doing a watch along for that, people, on Levy Reacts, the second channel. And Arsenal have got Sheffield United. I've just seen on the Arsenal website, Jesus and Partey are missing the game. So they're both going to be out.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. I've not actually read it. I was doing another show when the news broke, but the guys in the chat were saying, apparently he said he's going to be out. They're going to be out for a couple of weeks. Is that true?
Who, Jesus?
Both of them.
I've literally just seen it now. I've been out.
Yeah, I literally seen it as well when I was streaming, so I've not managed to actually read the full comments, but I think it's in his press conference.
Yeah, it says here, with Gabby, I cannot give you a time frame because he always surprises us, but there is something there. So that tells me he's out for a while.
Right. What about
he felt a really awkward action, and it's true that he had quite a lot of load in the last. This word load, this joker, man, he's had a lot of load in the last. Well, you mean he's played a couple of games? Like, makes it sound like, oh my God, we've given him such a heavy workload. Mate, you're getting paid 200 grand a week.
Also, how could he say that when he's spamming Saka out for like the last 2 years?
3 years.
3 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a joker. He said, where is he about Thomas Partey? Jesus, scans showed that there is a muscle injury. We might lose him for a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks. We might lose him for a few weeks, which means it'll be about a month.
So say that's three or 4 weeks. So you got Sheffield United. You shouldn't really miss him there. Carabao Cup, bigger fish to fry, so you won't care about that. Newcastle away, you might miss him there, but they have got a lot of injuries as well. But you might get away with it, but that's still a big one. Burnley at home should be all right. Brentford away, that's a month away, so you might get away with it.
Yeah, Champions League as well against Sevilla. We should beat them at home, to be fair.
Yeah, and the win that you got really sort of is, that was a big win against Sevilla in the week. But you should get, obviously Newcastle next week's a big one for you guys. But I don't actually know who's out, but I just was like, apparently they've got like a bit of an injury crisis or something. So that should be all right.
Yeah, I watched Newcastle the other night. They were shocking, man. Absolutely shocking.
I think they're done now, in that chapter. Because I think now they have to beat Dortmund away, really. Because I think actually when they got PSG, I do think PSG might not necessarily win, but I don't think they'll lose PSG. I think they'll at least get a draw against Newcastle, which kind of means that they've got to beat Dortmund if you do the maths. So I think that's a bad result, man. I think it's a terrible result for Newcastle.
Big time. The going to Dortmund away ain't easy, man. With Thomas Partey, he says he's got a muscle injury. We're expecting him out for a few weeks, but we don't know the extent of it, and he's having more tests today. He picked that injury up in the last training session with the last kick of the ball before the Sevilla game. He's chatting bollocks. He's chatting absolute rubbish. Thomas Partey's not injured. No way in a million years. He's played 15 minutes in the last 10 games. Yeah, I don't believe he's injured. He's played more time for Ghana in them 10 games. He has done more international duty than he has for us. He ain't injured.
Mm.
Injured, mate. There's something else going on there. We can all speculate, but I don't want to go to jail. So, so I'm just going to zip it.
You just got to add disclaimers at the start of every video, mate.
Yeah,
this is all opinions, and nothing here is the truth and should not be taken as the truth.
Exactly. It's all
also,
allegedly.
Don't fucking clip us up. You know what I mean?
Allegedly. Yeah, alleged. That's a good word. Allegedly. But yeah, let's start with your game, man. Man United, Harry Maguire, the goalkeeper, Mesut Ozil tweeting out, "Oh, they're proving their haters wrong." That football club is absolutely in the mud. It is buried. Yeah, they've got dramas going on left, right, and centre. I've seen Garnacho is now in a bit of trouble as well for a tweet he's posted out.
Yeah.
Mate, it don't rain, it pours for that side of Manchester, I'll tell you that much. But obviously, you lot got a win the other night. There was a couple of lads in my chat, City fans, saying you didn't play that great. You went 1-0 up. They then equalised, and then obviously you got the penalty, and then after that you kicked on and got the third. But obviously, I didn't watch your game. How was your game the other night?
I think
on the weekend, man.
Yeah, I think to say we didn't play great is a little bit harsh. I thought it was pretty good. We created a lot of chances for the first time in a long time. You know, realistically, honestly, we should have scored about 8 goals. But was it as free flowing and smooth and whatever fucking word you like to use as normal as a team last year? As sometimes we've seen this year, probably not. And was there an issue with the goal we conceded? Yeah, like how has he just managed to put a ball straight behind our defence? Rico Lewis switched off as well for their goal. But it was good. And the facts are, you know, I think now we can confidently say, doesn't mean that we'll win every game going forward with him in the team, but we can confidently say that a large part of our poor form over the last month was due to Rodri not being in the team. Because if you look at the 3 games we didn't win, Newcastle away, Wolves away, Arsenal away, Rodri played in none of them. You look at 2 games that we've played in and around that time, Leipzig, we were good. Rodri was back in the team. You look at Brighton, we were a lot better against Brighton. Still not great, but a lot better. And obviously against Young Boys, we was good as well with Rodri back into the team. So I think you can start to see now that this team is starting to click again. And a large part of that is due to Rodri. Now, I've said, this is all well and good, because for me, I've said this a lot, I think Rodri right now is the best midfielder in the world. But that also brings its own problems. And that's because you can start to over-rely on him. And when he gets injured or suspended, we're fucked, man. We do not have a solution at this moment in time. Calvin Phillips ain't that guy. Kovacic ain't that guy. And HN is absolutely spot on with that comment. We need a player who can play in midfield, and then when Rodri gets injured or suspended, can drop into the number 6 position, just like what happened when we played Man United at home last year at the Etihad, where we put Gundogan in the 6th position. We ended up winning 6-3. We don't have anyone who can play there. So he's fucking around with Kovacic, Bernardo, maybe a bit of Nunes. But listen, we're moving all right. In terms of the game at the weekend, I'm confident, man. Because you got to look at last year. Realistically, last year, we shouldn't have won that. We shouldn't have lost that game. You know what I mean? A terrible refereeing decision. Absolutely ridiculous to say that Ederson wasn't impacted. You know what I mean? The guy's about to shoot. You know what I mean? What you're about is not impacted. And then, but ultimately, the reason why we didn't win that game, in my opinion, was due to our defence. We had Cancelo, Ake, Akanji, and Walker. All good players in their own rights, but against a team that's making it very difficult to play against, you need players who can play balls into the spaces, can drive forward with it. You know, like your John Stones, your Gavardio. At Arsenal, you got the Salibas of this world. Last year, we didn't. And that's really what causes a problem. Our defence was just passing the ball sideways like that, basically, for 90 minutes. We're not going to have that this time because we've got Gavardio, Stones, Diaz back into the team. So I'm much more confident. United are a mess. If this is anything other than a City win, then I'd be very, very disappointed. This is a poor Man United team.
Oh, they're shocking, man. They're shocking. They got out of jail against Sheffield United with a great finish from Dalot. And this is a Sheffield United team that are rooted bottom of the table, minus 17 goal difference. And then they got out of jail with Onana saving a penalty against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
It's like, no disrespect, but I reckon 99% of the teams in the league would wipe Copenhagen apart. Yeah, but that team struggled. I reckon even Sheffield United would give Copenhagen a game, and Luton and Burnley and teams like that. I think they'd give them a game. Yeah, the way they're playing at the minute, there's no plan, there's no formation, there's no build-up play. It's just vibes. It's literally just hit and hope. Like, oh, maybe we can nick something today. Yeah, you don't. When you watch Man United, it's not like watching Man United under Fergie. You knew what he was going to do. You knew what was going to happen. Yeah, get it down the wing, get the ball in the box. Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, whoever it may be at the time. When you watch Man United now, 1 week they're pressing, the next they're not. Then they press in a game for 10 minutes, then they stop. Yeah, then Mason Mount's running off up front and leaving them exposed at the back. Yeah, then the next thing, Casemiro's doing it and Mason Mount. Then Bruno's over on the right, and it's like the whole thing's a mess.
Let me ask you a question, bro, because I got an interesting theory on this one. And chat, give us your thoughts in the chat as well. See what people say. Do you think? Because basically what happened is last year when Ten Hag come in, he basically gone, I don't have the players to play my style of football, right? So I'm going to play this sort of counter-attacking football, right? Ollie ball, basically. He was playing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer football, counter-attacking, right? And he has the players to do that. And he was successful in that, right? In the sense that they got to 2 finals, won 1. And really, I think he sort of overachieved. I don't think anyone really expected him to come 3rd or whatever, wherever they finished. I think that was quite like, fucking hell, that's pretty good for your first season. Do you actually think now he's because he's done that, do you think he's actually caused himself a bit of a problem? Because now if he wants to implement a style of play, his own style, which is possession-based and high press, that's not going to click overnight. It didn't click overnight for Pep Guardiola. It took a full season. So then if he does that and it doesn't work for a couple of games, he's then feeling under pressure because it's his second season. He's not really got the time to sort of be taking L's. You know, that was last year if there was ever a time. So then he's like, shit, I need results. We're sitting in 8th. If we don't win this game, I'll be 10th and people will be calling from ahead. I'm going to go back. So now, because of how good he done last year, he's sort of in this weird position where he doesn't have, you know, because United have dropped off so big. If United would have had a poor season last year, but every game they played football in the Ten Hag way, they're the possession based, and you've seen them go forward, and it was like that. This is the season now that you kick on. People might be a little bit more open to it, but I feel like it's difficult to say because they did win a trophy and done relatively well. But do you think he kind of fucked himself a little bit by doing that?
100%. And the thing is, pre-season is supposed to be when you implement new things, new ideas. And it's like you said, they got to 2 finals and they won 1 of them. Fair play to them. But even last season, there was no real style. Like, he started off well. He started off poorly. Then he went on the run. Yeah, playing that possession-based football and that, you know, nice tippy-tappy passing. And then he went away from it. But it was just basically Rashford getting him out of jail. Rashford went on a mad purple patch and was saving their ass. Yeah, they were not good last season. Yeah, they were all right, but they weren't great. And you think, okay, cool. Now give him some more money, get him some more players in pre-season. Yeah, and he can kick on with what he wants to do. Yeah, because you could kind of see what he was trying last season in certain games anyway, not every game. But this season, I have no idea what he's doing, bro. And it's like he don't know what he's doing. Yeah, it's almost like he's thinking, we'll just try that this week, and we'll try this week. And if this don't work for 10 minutes, it's like, what are they doing on the training ground?
I think that's because he's under pressure, Lee. I think he feels the pressure because he's not just going, like, for example, if one of our players gets injured, right, and I don't know if this is similar at Arsenal, you know, you probably know more than me, but if one of our players gets injured, usually, unless it's a key player or an exception, another player will come in and not a lot changes, right? Like, we play the same way. I think that Ten Hag's under so much pressure that he's like, if someone gets injured or someone gets suspended or something's not right, he's not got that system where he can just be like, right, I'll put you in and you do it. He's like, shit, I got to change everything now. You know what I mean? The defense has got to change. My midfield, am I putting 2 in there, 2 holding, 1 holding? Like, am I pressing? Am I sitting back? Am I counter-attacking? Am I going for it? And I just think he's under massive pressure and, you know, effortless there in the chat, 100% right. Last year, right, I never take anything away from anyone who wins a trophy because ultimately that's the aim of the game, right? But I can also look at it objectively and say, well done for winning the trophy, the Carabao Cup. However, you didn't actually play anyone until I think it was the semi-finals, the final where you played Newcastle, and they were actually the better team. You got top 4 again. Congratulations, but it was an abnormal season where Chelsea finished in the bottom 10 and Liverpool didn't finish in the top 4. And you know, we beat you in the FA Cup, and again, you had a relatively easy one. I'm not taking anything away. On top of that, Liverpool also smacked you up 7-0, and City put 6 past you. So you can, yes, on one hand, he's done a good job domestically, getting into the top 4, getting to 2 finals and winning one, good. But on the other hand, you've also got to look at it and say there was a lot of red flags, and even with the success, you can look at it and go, well done, but you only really did that because of the run or because of whatever. And I say this as well. If you look at Ten Hag when he was at Ajax, does he really have the credentials to come into Manchester United and sort them out? Because you said at the beginning of this stream, Lee, they are a mess. And I think they need a strong manager, an experienced coach who will automatically gain the authority. If you actually look at Ten Hag, he won the leagues with Ajax, right? Great. I don't really rate the Eredivisie that highly, in my personal opinion. That's my view. You guys can, that's fine. So I'm not going to give him mega credit for that, but I'll still give him credit. And then people go, check his Champions League record. You don't know what you're chatting about. So you know what I did, Lee? One day I went and checked his Champions League record. He got to a semi-final, which he bottled, by the way. And every other Champions League year, I think they got knocked out the group stage every year with relatively decent groups for them as well. So I look at it and go, is he really the right man?
And the thing is as well, me and Runts were talking about this the other week. We went through Ajax's top earners. Yeah, and how much they're getting paid per player and the average salary per player. And then compared it to Man United. Yeah, and there's academy players at Man United getting paid similar wages to first-team players at Ajax. Yeah, and it's like, how can you go from being the authoritative figure at Ajax, where you can control people on 20, 30 grand a week, to trying to do exactly the same at Man United when you've got 300, 400 grand a week players there? It's never going to work, because when you get paid 10 times more than the person you've just come with, the team you've been managing, yeah, the ego's 10 times higher. Yeah. Now you've got Sancho there, 300 grand. De Gea was there. Ronaldo was there. Rashford was there. Bruno was there. Casemiro was there. A lot of egos in that dressing room. And Anthony, he signed that. He's on big money. Yeah. And when you look around that dressing room, Varane's another one, big money. Yeah. Alessandro, obviously, he signed him, but big money. Yeah. And it's like, you can't sit and talk to people that are on 300 or 400 grand a week exactly how you talk to people on 20 grand a week. You just can't do it.
No.
Yeah. You can't control them people. And you can tell them to a certain degree and coach them and help them out. But you can't sit and scream and shout at them like that, like you could do at Ajax, because the Ajax players go, oh my God, shit, yeah. Whereas,
especially when you Ten Hag,
what are you doing, mate? What can you tell me? I've won 5 Champions Leagues, mate. What have you won?
Exactly. It may be if you're Guardiola or Ancelotti or maybe Zidane, a manager. Respect. Yeah, and then players will be like, oh, I better listen to this guy. But and to be fair, you might have that. Maybe you'd have that for the first couple of weeks, Lee. Maybe if you're a player on 300 grand and Ten Hag comes in and starts shouting at you, for the first couple of weeks, you'd be like, oh, I listen to him. But then maybe when the decisions start, he starts making weird decisions, or you start losing games because of maybe tactics a bit weird. Then ultimately, you question yourself and go, hang on a minute, who's this guy again? And then let me tell you, right, these players are smart, right? They're not these dumb guys that people make them out to be. They'll do the research as well on these guys, 100%. Their agents will probably tell them that there's this manager, right? I'm being told by my other client who, if I'm an agent, right, I've got say Marcus Rashford's my client, but I've got a client at Ajax. I've been speaking to that guy and saying, right, let me tell Marcus Rashford what this manager likes. I'm telling Marcus Rashford, I'm telling all my other clients about the manager. So these players are not dumb. They know what the situation is.
They're all in group chats. They'll go on international breaks and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
They talk to each other. You know what I mean? A lot of these players now, it's not like the olden days where, you know what I mean, it was different. Like, City United, they'll be having dinner with each other, some of these players, some United players and City players probably tomorrow night, on Sunday night after the game. That's just how it goes.
They'll probably fly to the boxing in Riyadh. It's in Riyadh. It's in Saudi, isn't it? As soon as the game's done, they'll be flying straight out on a private jet to go and watch Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
I guarantee you now, there'll be a Man United or Man City player at that fight.
Probably will. On the jet.
They probably will. Just straight on the jet, straight out there.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, your game's on Sunday, so maybe they can't. Maybe Pep won't allow it. Yeah, maybe he won't allow it because it's the day before the game, isn't it? It's Saturday the fight.
Well, De Bruyne will be there because he was at the UFC, wasn't he? So he'll probably be at it.
Well, you never know, man. You never know. Pep might just say, "Yeah, cool, go and enjoy yourselves. Make sure you're back by this time." Yeah, because it's the day before the game. I thought you were playing tomorrow. It's not. It's Sunday. So, yeah, but you're right though. You're right. They all speak to each other, bro. Like Sancho. Yeah, man said Sancho's probably already there. Yeah, he probably is.
I think the Sancho thing is so fucked. I think it's so
make him right though. Like if he thinks he's done nothing wrong, then why would he apologise?
No, okay, so yeah, so there's two parts to this, isn't there? There's that one, there's the principle standpoint of if you've done nothing wrong, stand your ground, don't apologise, because then everyone think you have done something wrong, and ultimately stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. But then there's the other side of the coin, which I also do get of football's a short career, you're wasting a season, just apologise, deal with it, get a move in the summer, and then if you want to release another statement next summer when you got to move, fair dues, as I say, whatever. But I just think it's so strange. Now, listen, I think it's a dodgy one, the Sancho thing, because I probably believe that Sancho has done some dodgy shit, you know, whether it's turning up late, whether it's, you know, whatever, because the way he left City indicates to me that he has a bit of a fucking problem in the sense that he just went on strike as what, an 18-year-old or whatever. How many 18-year-olds go on strike? So he clearly has like something going on. But I also don't agree at all with the way Ten Hag's handled it. And I think him coming out, because this all started after United lost again. Confirm me if I'm right. They either lost or they drew a match. And after the game, they lost or drawn. And then the guy said, "What's happening with Sancho?" And that's where he started. He basically, Ten Hag cooked Sancho, basically. And then that's where it all started. And I think that doing that after a loss or a draw, whatever it was, that's poor. My personal opinion, some people disagree. I think that's poor form. I think that's poor form for I think if you're going to, because Ten Hag knew what he was doing that day.
He knew that the story was going to be, oh my God, you've just drawn or lost the game. Let me spin it all onto this player.
Correct.
And the thing is, if he's had an issue with the player once or twice, well, listen, he went to the mountains for 3 months. Yeah, the player. Yeah, and he's come back. So maybe he has been a bit of a prat when he's come back. Yeah, and he's got previous at Dortmund. He was getting fined for turning up late all the time. Yeah, so he has got previous. But having said that, if he believes that he hasn't done anything wrong, if that was me, I wouldn't apologise either. Yeah, regardless of if it's a short career, they're still paying him. Yeah, he's getting 300 grand in his bank every Friday. Do you know what I mean? Like, he don't care. And he don't need to play football. He's just walking around town shopping, doing what he wants.
Playing FIFA, yeah.
Playing FIFA, yeah. 300 grand a week. He's the highest paid content creator out there.
Yeah, no. Like I say, and I don't, by the way, I don't think that is the wrong thing. I'm just saying you've got two options. And if he's going down that route, then fair dues. It's just a bit weird because he clearly has done something wrong. I mean, clearly has been late or something. So what is he unhappy about? Does he feel that Ten Hag's gone over the top? Does he feel, well, other players have done this and you've never done that? So is he being scapegoated a little bit? Does he feel, and this is one that I can probably completely agree with him on, does he feel that other players on the pitch are getting opportunities because they're being favoured? I.e., you all know the name, Anthony. And
I think that's the issue because in pre-season he was playing. He was their best player in pre-season.
It's true,
Sancho. Yeah, and it was like everyone was getting hyped up for Sancho to have a great season, and then all of a sudden he barely played. Yeah, so I think he's had a bit of a row with the manager. Yeah, saying, well, how comes he keeps playing? He's crap. Yeah, and let's be real, it is a team game, but they're all individuals and they all want to play games. Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether you're all a team. Yeah, if you've got a player in the same position as you and he's playing worse than you can, yeah, then you're going to go and say something. Yeah, you're going to be like, why'd you keep picking him, boss? Like, he's crap. What's he done for 5 weeks? Well, I was playing in pre-season, now I'm not playing, and he keeps getting a game. Yeah, so
and
even though they're mates and all that, they're all
because he's paid 90 million, though, Lee. He's paid 90 million, and he's backed himself into a corner because he's his player. You know, it's the same with Mason Mount. Now he's got these players in. It's the same with Onana. You know what I mean? And now apparently rumours has it that he might be getting De Gea back in January. But, you know, you spend big cash on players. You kind of got unless you're a big personality and you can take the shit, right? So you buy a player for 90 million. Unless you're a manager, very few managers have this quality where they can get you in and go a bit like Calvin Phillips, spent 40 million on the kid, and Pep's just like, actually, you're actually pretty shit. I ain't playing you. And no matter what questions come at him in the media, no matter what some fans say, he's like, I don't care. I'm not playing him because he's not that good. You know what I mean? Whereas some managers, they'll be like, shit, I got to force this to work. And he has done that with a large degree with Anthony. And if Sancho feels that is a problem, then fair dues to the guy. I just feel it's all a little bit... I feel a little bit sorry for Sancho in the sense that I don't think Sancho is innocent. I think he probably has done some dodgy shit, whatever it is, late, whatever. But at the same time, I also feel that Ten Hag probably...
kind of cutting his nose off to spite his face, isn't he? That's what he's doing.
And to do it after a bad result, Lee, I think that's I think that's cowardly, man. I can't put it out there. I think that's a cowardly thing to do. You know, if you win the game 3-0 and then you go, you know what, Sancho's shit, mate, he's doing my head in, and then the media go, oh, right, really? But to do it after a dodgy result or whatever it was, I think that was poor.
Yeah, that was spineless, man. But that manager is spineless, bro. He came into Man United, his first press conference, he said Harry Maguire's a great player and he'll be staying captain. Yeah, and it's like, and then you spent all of this summer trying to get rid of him. Yeah, but now the last 2 games he's got man of the match. Yeah, and it's like it's all upside down, back to front. Yeah, and the thing is, he has energy for one player, but then he don't have the same energy for another player. Yeah, and it's like that can cause a divide in the dressing room real quick. And let's be real here, yeah. Marcus Rashford scored 1 goal in his last 17 or 18 games. Yeah, why is that? That coincides with Sancho barely playing a game. Yeah, so maybe, and it coincides with him signing a massive deal. Yeah, but maybe Sancho hasn't done anything wrong, or maybe he has done something wrong, but other players have done the same and got away with it. And then the players are now backing Sancho and saying, cool, we're down tools then.
Yeah, well, that was, now this was, obviously, this Sancho thing's quieting down a little bit, but when it was all popping off a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, there was rumours coming out that there was a large segment of the United squad that was backing Sancho. I mean, that is not what, if you're a United fan, that is not what you want to be hearing. That is not what you want to be hearing. You want to be hearing, well, first of all, you don't want to be hearing any of it at all, but you want to be hearing that the squad is fully backing the manager and that everyone in the squad feels that Sancho's been taking the piss and that the manager's well within his rights. To hear that some of the players were a little bit like, nah, I think you've got a little bit OTP there. I think that's worrying, man. And it's like when does it end? You know what I mean?
I think it ends when he gets sacked. And the thing is as well, like a lot of Man United fans are like still backing him, which is cool. They can do what they want. It's their club. But it's a 50-50 split from what I see. Yeah, it's like 50% of them are like hoping it works and he spins it around. The other 50% are like, nah, this is done. Yeah, and I think the problem with Ten Hag is he's gone into that club. He's got rid of David De Gea. He's got rid of Ronaldo. Yeah, that's nearly £1 million off the wage bill straight away every week. Yeah, now the next highest earner is Jadon Sancho before Rashford signed his deal. Now that player's got an issue. It's almost like now Casemiro's barely playing a game. Stayed in Brazil. He's come back, didn't play the other night. He's not playing at the weekend. It's almost like, are you just there to get rid of all the top earners? Yeah, to bring it down to like a more respectable wage cap, similar to what you had at Ajax, so you can control the players easier. Because when you got Sancho on 300 grand, De Gea on 300 grand, Ronaldo $500,000 a week, you ain't controlling any of them. Yeah, you might be able to tell him go and train with the under 18s. Yeah, but he just went and put a statement out. Yeah, cool, fuck you, I'll put a statement out. Yeah, whereas I don't think if he had players on 50, 60, 80, 100 grand a week, that would have happened. Yeah, because their ego would be less than somebody on 300 grand a week. Yeah, we've all been there, bro. I've done, when I started doing sales, yeah, the first week I ever did sales, I was 16. Yeah, and I had 1,200 quid in my first week. Yeah, 25 years ago. That's the equivalent of about 4 or 5 grand a week now. Yeah, and I was like, wow, all of a sudden I'm splashing money. I'm like, yeah, you can't tell me nothing. Yeah, and then the next week I think I have 300 quid. But it's like, that brought me back down to earth. And then the manager can control you again. But when you're like walking around, Jack cock of the walk, yeah, earning £1,000 here, 200 next week, and then and all of a sudden over the month you're earning 4 or 5 grand at 16. Yeah, and it's like you think you're the man. I thought I was the shit, bruv. Yeah, now imagine doing that when you're earning 300 grand a week. Yeah. Everyone's told you yes, 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 all the way through your career. Yeah, everywhere you go, oh, hello, Jadon, hello, Cristiano. Oh, come in, it's on the house, don't worry. Yeah, anything you need. Yes, all the girls are after them. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Everywhere they go, they're royalty. Yeah, so as soon as somebody comes in and has an opposite thought process to them, all of a sudden it's a massive conflict. We see it all the time, bro. Not just at Man United. There's players with massive egos at every football club, and that is based on the income they get. Yeah, like we see it with Mesut Ozil and Aubameyang, 350 grand a week. They're down tools. Yeah, and it's like Mesut Ozil weren't worth his money anyway. Aubameyang, I can see why he got it because he actually done stuff for us. Yeah, but at the same time, as soon as you put them two players on that money, yeah, their ego skyrocketed. Yeah, and their performances dropped. And then all of a sudden, now it's an argument with the manager because the manager's saying, well, you ain't performing, mate, get out of the club. With Ozil, it was kind of different because of the whole China thing. Yeah, but again, his performances were shocking as soon as you put him on 300 grand. Yeah, and then the manager's calling it out, and then Ozil's just getting worse. Now all of a sudden it's a to and fro. Same with Aubameyang. Yeah, to and fro. And it's like, as soon as you put people on stupidly high money, which is what football's about now. Me and Matty were talking about this last night. The amount of players that ruin their career by taking that big money move too early. Yeah, Jadon Sancho is probably one of them. We spoke about this last night. He should have stayed at Dortmund for another couple of years. Yeah, fine-tuned everything. Then he could walk in at 24, 25 years old, yeah, to any club, because he would have carried on the same trajectory. He would have been happy playing football every week. He would have been ripping the Bundesliga apart. And he still would have got the big money. But the problem is, he wants it now.
Yeah, and he also needed to go to a club which was settled. Do you know what I mean? And that had structure and stuff. Whereas he went into a mess. Man United is a mess. It's fucked from the top to the bottom. And I don't say that in a mocking way. I don't say that to banter United fans. You know what I mean? We just won the treble. I don't need to do that. I'm saying that sincerely. That club is screwed, and that doesn't mean that they won't ever have success, because ultimately they're a massive club. They spend a lot of money, and ultimately they'll win trophies from time to time, regardless of how bad they are, right? And that they've proven that over the last decade, that they'll still win even though they're bad. But ultimately, in terms of real success, in terms of winning Premier Leagues, competing again at the Champions League, they're not going to get there unless they sort it out, and they've got to sort it out from the top to the bottom. Now, obviously, if they always like to talk about the owners. You can still win with the owners there. They did that with Ferguson. They've got to get the structure right, man. They've got to get the guys at the top, the board right. They've got to get the manager right. You know, you look at it now and say, have they got the right board members in place? Probably not. Have they got the right manager in place? Probably not. Do they have a sporting director that knows what he's doing? Probably not. Are the players good enough? Probably not. On top of that, you look at the training ground. You know what I mean? Ronaldo slagged it off when he left and said nothing's changed since he was last there. You know what I mean? You look at some of the training grounds now in England. Cities, Arsenal, Leicester's, I know, is a class
Tottenham.
one.
Yeah,
Tottenham. World-class facilities.
Training ground's mad.
It's everything. You know what I mean? It's not just get a couple good players, get a good manager, and Bob's your uncle. It's everything. And that club is screwed. They need a complete factory reset. But I don't think that they have the balls to do it. Because to do that's going to involve some pain. I mean, if you look at Chelsea, for example, Chelsea have done a factory reset. They might not have pressed the button. They might have drifted into a factory reset by themselves, but ultimately they've just reset the whole fucking club. They've just gone, you know what? Let's burn it down and start again. And they've done that. And over the last couple of weeks, there are signs that maybe that they're on the way back. Listen, they probably won't be fighting for the Premier League for at least another year or two. But it looks like they're on the right trajectory. And when they get back up the top, they should be sustainable. United, I just think they're a complete and utter mess, man.
They ain't going to change anytime soon. Yeah, they'll just keep going round and round and round. They needed full ownership takeover. Yeah, this Jim Radcliffe ain't going to do nothing. Yeah, and they can figure out a way of whacking out £1.5 billion into that club. Yeah, the £1.5 billion ain't saving Man United. Yeah, let's just be real with it. That £1.5 billion on infrastructure or whatever, wherever they put that £1.5 billion, how much is it going to cost to rejuvenate Old Trafford? It's going to cost hundreds of millions to sort that stadium out, because it is literally falling apart.
It's falling. That's why some people say knock it down and build a new one, because it's that
Mate,
bad.
I've never been to that ground. I've had tickets to go to that stadium pretty much every year when I was going to games, and every year I've given my ticket away. I refuse to go there, mate. It's a dump. Yeah, and not only that, it's the slopes like this. You all stood there like sardines. Yeah, it absolutely stinks.
I've been there a few times, and yeah, it is. It's certainly not a modern stadium. And by the way, I think they should. My personal opinion, I think they should keep that style of stadium. I prefer that to the sort of new domes that we both have. But you've got to modernise it a little bit. You know, fix the roofs, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like every week they're getting absolutely memed and shit. You know what I mean? About all the leaks and that in the stadium.
The toilets are overflowing and piss everywhere. Mate, how can you be Man United and your toilets are flooding with piss every single game? That is embarrassing. Like, have a bit of shame. Man United Football Club and your toilets are overflowing. Like, with piss and shit, mate. That is horrible.
It's grim, isn't it?
Not only that, that's a health hazard, man.
It's horrible, bro. It's horrible. And you know, that's why I'm just grateful that my owners have not just invested on the pitch, they've invested off the pitch. And you go around, you know, that area of Manchester now, it's fucking completely different to what it used to be 15, 20 years ago. So, listen, United got problems, man. And, you know, if they don't win this weekend, they can be 10th. I know people say the City don't win, will be 5th, but ultimately, that's still not the worst case scenario. We're only 10 games in for United to be 10th after how they finished the season, getting in the top 4, getting to 2 finals, winning a trophy, making a couple signings. The optimism was high. To be 10th after 10 games, that is mad.
Before we get into talking about the game, I want to ask you about Tottenham real quick, because I tweeted last night, and I've rattled Tottenham fans. They're so insecure, it is crazy. Right? After game week 9 last season, they had 3 points less than they have now.
Yeah.
They were currently sat in 3rd in the table last season with 20 points after 9 games. They'd lost 1 game, drawn 2, won 6. Fast forward a year later, game week 9, they're 3 points better off, but they just haven't lost a game. Do you think, because I'm looking at that thinking, why are they all so gassed? They're literally 3 points better off than this time last season. Look how happy they all are. You lot are 2 points worse off, and we're 3 points worse off than the exact same stage last season. But I look at it, and I wanted to ask you this, yeah? Do you think that they can keep this up? Yeah, and why do you think that they're so gassed? Because I just don't get it. I genuinely don't get it, bro.
I think
I'm going to grab a beer, mate, yeah?
Yeah, no worries. I have to put that down to the way that they're playing and just the vibe and the good feeling around Tottenham. Because if we're being real, right? I think, people say buy low, sell high, right? You look at Tottenham in the summer. I think people was well overdoing it, right? They should have finished in the top 4 last year. They should have. They was there until game week 33, and then maybe less than that. I'm not sure. It all went wrong at Southampton, where that was the end of their season at that point. But they were in the top 4 at that point. They were in the top 4. They should have finished in the top 4. So fundamentally, if they finish in the top 4, that tells me that they've got a decent team. If you don't finish in the top 4 unless you've not got at least a decent team, right? So Kane leaves. You get a manager out in Conte that's probably expired his time at Spurs, and you get this new guy come in. I'm not saying that we should have expected him to be first, but I'm also probably saying I think the negativity around Spurs in the summer was well overdone. They made some good signings. James Maddison, good signing. Mickey van der Ven, never seen him play, but everyone who did see him play was telling me that he's a good player, LB, and keep your eye out for him. Vicario, again, similar sort of thing. So I don't think this is any real shock that they're up amongst it. And like I say, being top of the league now doesn't matter. I told you this all the time. Arsenal fans know this very well from last year. It doesn't matter where you are in the league right now. Match day 38 that matters. Granted, it is kind of nice to be top of the league because you've got that insurance policy. But for me, I think Spurs fans are probably just enjoying watching the football again, enjoying going to games and watching a decent style of football, and that everyone's together rather than this sort of militaristic type of manager that they had in Conte that just didn't really connect with the players or the Spurs fans. So listen, for me, I'm telling it, Spurs fans, enjoy it. Enjoy watching your football, of course. I don't think you're going to win the league. But I think you'll get top 4, top 5 pretty easily from this position. Let's see what you do in the summer transfer window. But I think that's what it is, bro. I think for me, it's more just a sort of, enjoying the football again. I think any Spurs fans saying we are going to win the league, if you want to put yourself in that conversation, then that's up to you. I mean, you got to accept the backfire. Then if you don't win the league, people will come at you and try and cook you. But I think it's just a vibe and the style of play, man.
And that sums that club up to a T, doesn't it? Yeah, they're just happy to watch good football and not win anything.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, they've obviously started the season off very well, Spurs. There's now going to be a big question about Levy in the summer, and to a certain degree, January, because I said to you, and I've told people all the time, last January, I knew that we could catch you and win the league because of your transfer signings. I don't think you did enough. I'm going to be saying the same thing to Tottenham fans, by the way. If you get to January the 1st and you're in the top 2 or 3, I want you to go out. Well, I don't want you to. You know what I mean? As a City fan, I don't want you to. But as a football fan, you know what I mean? As someone who likes football, I'm going to be saying to Spurs, well, go on then. Go out in January and spend £100 million. Go and buy another defender. Go buy cover for Bissouma. Go buy another attacking player. Go on. You got a chance of winning the league. Yeah, go and do it. Go and
Yeah.
show us your minerals. Get your checkbook out. We know you got cash. You spent £1 billion on a stadium. So don't tell me you've not got 100 million to spend on some players when you could potentially win a title. Go and do it. You got no European football. You're not in the Carabao Cup. And then if you are first, come January the 1st, then you might even sack off the FA Cup. You have 1 game a week to the rest of the season. Go and show your minerals and get a checkbook out in January. That's the true test. We'll know by February the 1st whether anything's different about Spurs, because we'll see what transfer activity they've done. And don't come at me with, it's difficult to sign players in January. No, it's not. It might cost you a little bit more money, but also it's not difficult. And I'm not being funny. If I'm a player at a Roma or a Lazio or one of these clubs that's not like winning the league but still a good team, and Tottenham who are first in the Premier League, and they come knocking and say, well, double your wages, come to us, we're going to win the league, I'm going. It's about ambition.
Even Ivan Toney, you could make a case that he'd go there. Yeah, they need a striker. He'd get in the team every week. No problem. Stick the money on the table. But they won't do it. They won't do it because Levy ain't like that, mate. Yeah.
So then nothing will change.
He wants to go on a shoestring budget and just get back in the Champions League. And the thing is, like, listen, there's a few Spurs fans in here. Big up to you guys, yeah? Most Spurs fans ain't deluded. But some of the ones I've seen online recently, mate, and it's like, you've got literally 3 points more than this stage last season. The only difference is the football looks better. Yeah, you sacked a manager, sat 4th in the league and ended up 8th. Yeah, Conte was 4th. And they sacked him
before, yeah.
And he ended up 8th. Yeah, is this guy going to finish above 4th? Potentially. But again, like you said, depends on what they do in January, because they're a James Maddison injury away from capitulation. Yeah, Basuma's going to go to the AFCON. Yeah, he's going to be going.
Son misses 4 games. I think
Son's going to go to the Asia Cup. Exactly. They're going to need some reinforcements in January.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. We'll find out, Lee, January, that month of January, we will find out if anything actually has changed at Spurs. And we'll know. February the 1st, we'll look back at the business that Spurs have done. And Spurs fans will know as well, which is a sad thing for them, is because right now, obviously, they're getting gassed, right? Because, Spurs fans know that they don't win anything. You know what I mean? Like, they know that. So, I guess for them, that's probably why they do get a bit excited when they see good football. Because at the end of the day, they've watched dead football for so long. At least let's watch some good football. The thing that Spurs fans now probably want to see is, okay, are we a serious football club? Let's see what we do in January. And if you're top of the league, I mean, I'll tell you something, Lee. This is a controversial comment. I wonder what you think. Do you think Levy actually likes this, being top of the table? Because now the pressure's on him. If they was 4th or 5th, there probably wouldn't be as much pressure in January to do anything. Whereas now he's going to get Spurs fans saying, hang on a minute, we potentially got a chance to win. I know we're a bit early now, a couple of months away, but if we get to January, he's got Spurs fans saying, hang on a minute, we got a chance to potentially win in the league here. You got to get a checkbook out, bro.
And he ain't going to do it. We all know he ain't going to do it. Yeah, he ain't going to do it. I don't know how much they spent in the summer, but it weren't much more than what they got for Kane. Yeah, it weren't much more. Maddison was, 40? They bought the lad from Forest for 50. 40 or 50. It says 80, 90. Who else did they buy? Van der Ven and the goalkeeper. Yeah, so they've done about, 150? 140? So only really spent 40 or 50 million, unless I'm missing someone. Spurs fans, help me out. But unless I'm missing someone, they've only done about 50 million quid more than what they got for Kane.
That's right, yeah. Now, it says here, Kulusevski and Porro, but I think they already knew about that anyway, right? I think they were like obligations. But yeah, if you take them two out of the mix, you're probably around, like 100, something like that, 150.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they'd gone and done another 100 million, which they could quite easily do, let's not pretend Spurs are skin. Yeah, they're absolutely cake. They're making more income than Arsenal. Yeah, and look how much we've spent. So they could go out there and go and do another 100 million. Yeah, and if they'd done another 100 million, they wouldn't be short in the midfield if they lose a player. They wouldn't be short at centre back if they lose Van der Ven or Romero. Because if they lose either one of them, they're back to Eric Dyer. Yeah, and that ain't good enough. Yeah, and you're right. Daniel Levy's probably sitting there thinking, this ain't the ideal scenario, because he don't want to win, mate. The guy is not there to win. Yeah, and every time Tottenham don't get top 4, he does spend, but he don't spend enough to win the title. He just spends enough to get back in the top 4. Same as the Glazers. Yeah, every time they finish outside the top 4, they go on a rampage just to get back in the top 4, but they don't do enough to win.
Yeah, because for them, Lee, they're not to try and win leagues, to try and win Champions Leagues, you've got to spend money and risk the money being spent and being wasted, right? Because you can spend £200-300 million in a transfer window, and guess what? You can still finish second or third. And you could have spent £100 million in a transfer window and still finish second or third. So they've got to look at it and say, is it worth spending an extra 100 million, an extra 200 million to try and close City down, to try and win the Champions League when it's unlikely, and then we just wasted that money? Or, as you say, or do we just spend a bit, get back in the top four, get the cash, and just keep on getting the cash in?
Well, when we finished fifth,
down that road.
We finished fifth a couple of seasons ago. You finished first, won the league. We earned 9.7 million less from the Premier League TV money and all of the sponsors within the TV and all of that. We earned 9.7 million less than you lot, and you won the league. So what's the incentive for a team to go and do another 100 million if you're only getting 9.7 million back? Yeah, extra from where you could finish fourth or fifth. I know Champions League money kicks in if you get into fourth place and whatever. This year it's fifth, but it's not that much. You ain't going to get 100 million quid back. I don't think you even get 100 million if you win the Champions League. So, what's the incentive for Daniel Levy to go out there and other clubs? And this is why I rate Man City, because Man City don't care. Yeah, they're like, no, we're here to win, mate. And if the money comes, the money comes. And if it don't, it don't. We're still winning. Yeah, and that's how it should be. And the thing is, when you win, you do get more sponsors come to your football club. They do want to sponsor you. They do want to have their ad hoardings up with their sponsor name on it because you're a winning club. And now you're being beamed all around the world as treble winners. Everyone wants a slice of that. They want to invest in Man City. Yeah, whereas, Tottenham are doing great off the pitch. Of course they are. Yeah, he's a good businessman. When it comes to football, he should be nowhere near that football club. Yeah, run the business side of it all day long. Yeah, but they need football people in that club. Otherwise, they ain't going to win nothing. Yeah, which is cool because I couldn't care less if they do or not. Yeah, I don't see them as rivals. I've said this for a long time. They're not my rival. But they've won 4 trophies in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It's won a decade. Yeah, and the last time they did win something was 16 years ago. So I kind of get why Spurs fans are hyped. Oh, look at this great football. But when you got Daniel Levy sitting in a fan forum the other week saying to Spurs fans, we've got our Tottenham back. Yeah. Why didn't any of them Spurs fans stand up and say, yeah, damn right we have, because we just got knocked out the League Cup yesterday, mate. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
No,
that's another thing that winds me up. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. That's another thing that winds me up. That club has not won anything for 16 years, and they straight out in the second round. Well, the first round proper for them. Yeah, it's like, come on, mate. Like, what are you doing here? Like, at least have a go at the cups. But again, if you win the League Cup, it's about 100 grand prize money. That ain't no good to Daniel Levy.
No, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? It's about some clubs are serious about winning trophies, and some are. They try and disguise it, but then now they really try to disguise it because, like you say, Spurs haven't won a trophy for 16 years, and then he rotates the team against Fulham. Yeah, I don't know what team he put out against Fulham. I'm pretty sure he did rotate it.
Well, when they scored, Fulham had a player off the pitch because he'd snapped his boot. So he'd run off the pitch, run down the tunnel to go and get a new boot, and then they scored while he was off the pitch. I watched the game; they weren't good, and it was and they did rotate their team that night. But it's like, why are you making changes? It's right at the start of the season. You've got no other games to play other than league. It's not like you're in Europe. Yeah, like have a go at the cups. And the thing is, I don't know who they would have got in the next round. But if you can get through all the way to a semi-final, now you've given your fans a day out at Wembley in a cup semi-final. Yeah, and maybe you could get to the final. And now they've got another day out. Yeah, it's all about winning, man. It's all about winning. Yeah, stop crying. They went out on purpose. Yeah, they went out on purpose. Yeah, I couldn't care less that they're out. Yeah, but my point is, teams that don't win anything should be taking cups seriously. Yeah, 9 changes. Yeah, exactly. They should be taking cups seriously. Bro, I've done this many times on this channel, yeah? Go and have a look at the last 20 Copa del Rey winners, which is the FA Cup equivalent in Spain. Real Betis, yeah, like Real Sociedad, like Sevilla, Osasuna, all the Bilbao. Yeah, Real Madrid, Barca, of course, Atleti have won a few, but if you go through the last 20, Valencia, Deportivo, Alaves, and all this lot, it's like because they know they're not going to win the league. Yeah, because they know Barca, Real, or Atleti will probably win it. So they go, do you know what? We'll have a real good go at this cup. Whereas in England, it's more money to finish 1 spot higher in the league than it is to win the domestic double in the cups. Yeah, it's like 6 million quid if you win both the cups. That's
Yeah,
a job.
you got to then question the manager though, then, because like, okay, I get the owner, right? The owner is clearly, unless like they're an actual guy, unless they're an owner who actually wants to win shit. I can get owner if they're a business owner. I can get them saying, I don't give a fuck about the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup because I'm a business owner. I want the money, and you coming 12th is better than you winning the Carabao Cup and finishing 13th. So focus on the league, okay? But the managers. The managers are sure, like, the managers have got to try and do this. I tell this story all the time. I remember, like, 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. I went to Leicester. City were playing Leicester in the Carabao Cup, and we rotated our team. We played some kids. We rested all our team, and Leicester rested their team. We won on penalties. And I remember on the way home thinking, why have they done that? Why haven't they just gone? This is when they had, like, I'm pretty sure they had, like, Mahrez and, like, Kante and Vardy at the time. I was thinking, why on earth have they done that? Why? They beat City. All of a sudden, you're in the next round. And the Carabao Cup, remember, as well, there's only like 4 rounds because the Premier League teams don't go. And if you're a European team, you don't go into it till the next round. You're going to play about 3 games, and then all of a sudden, you're in a semi-final.
Yeah.
I mean, so I get the FA Cup, round 3. There's a lot of rounds to go. But the Carabao Cup, like, you could be in a final in 4 matches. Yeah. And too many teams. And it's definitely 100% because of the money. And the one thing that then annoys me about this is that I have to deal with opposition fans saying, we can't do anything. Well, sit here with their money. And it's like, well, it's not my fault that you lot decide to, what is it? Bigger fish to fry, focus on other stuff.
Yeah. Well, the owner of the Superfan channel's exact words last season were, yeah, what do we want that dusty cup for? The League Cup is beneath a club like Arsenal. Yeah, this season, and on Wednesday again, they will be doing live streams. They will be at the game doing fan cams. But if it's beneath a club like Arsenal, why are you watching it then?
I just think you got to go for everything. I fundamentally believe that you go for every single competition, and I think that unless you are like a Bayern Munich, right, where you dominate the league every year, you win the league every year, and then you go, you know what? All we're really focused on is the Bundesliga and the Champions League. You might focus on it, but in the Premier League, you do not have even City, as good as we've been in the last 7 years. Even we can't sit there and go, you know what, we'll just focus on league this year. We can't do that with Arsenal, Liverpool, other teams, because it's too difficult. You go for everything. And if you only win a Carabao Cup at the end of the season, I would class that as a disappointment in nowadays for Manchester City. But at least you still won a bloody trophy.
But that's the thing, Lewis. Your club, when Pep first got there, yeah, he realised it was not going to be easy to win the league. Yeah, he got Klopp on his case every season as well for 4 straight seasons or whatever it was. Yeah, Champions League was a priority as well. But what he did do is he went in there and he said, right, let's start winning. Yeah, let's just get a cup. Yeah, let's win the League Cup. And for 4 years straight, I think you won it, didn't you? Something like that. Yeah, and now you've got to a position where you are dominating the Premier League. You have won a Champions League, including the treble in total now. So you can throw a League Cup in the bin. Yeah, because you can say, right, well, we've now got that base of winning that competition. That's given us the winning mentality. Now we're getting the bigger trophies. We can prioritise trophies and get rid of that one. Yeah, in the last 2 seasons, you've gone out in it to Southampton. Who'd you go out to this time?
Newcastle, yeah.
Newcastle. So, and that tells me because he wants to go and retain the Champions League. He wants to retain and do 4 in a row, but when he first came in, that weren't the case. You weren't winning the Champions League. You weren't doing a potential 4 in a row or 3 in a row. It was like, let's just win. Yeah. Whereas these other clubs, I see clubs in the Championship rotating their teams. It's like, you're not getting promoted. Yeah. You're not good enough to get in the Premier League. So why don't you have a cup run? Give your fans something to get excited about. But they don't. It's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing.
I think this
the English football in total, yeah, the Premier League, the EFL, whatever, Championship, a lot. The prize money is such a joke for these cups that getting into the Premier League is the holy grail. Yeah, look at Luton, right? Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley. How much do they spend in the summer? They ain't serious about staying up. Yeah, they all earned over, they're guaranteed about 100 million quid for TV money, plus all the other sponsorship stuff. Yeah, and if they all get relegated, they're all getting parachute payments. They're probably getting the best part of 300 million quid for getting relegated, for coming up and getting relegated. Why didn't they go and spend some of that money? Because I think Luton done about 70 million, 80 million. Ain't interested in staying up.
Yeah. And you know what? To just go back to your point, I don't know if this is factual information. I'm just going off what I can sort of like feel. But to sort of prove that maybe football has changed in that sort of sense, Do you feel now that there is less cup upsets? Because like when I was growing up, and this was only 20 years ago, I still feel that there was always a big upset in the FA Cup or even maybe the Carabao. When really now do you get massive upsets? When was the last time you had a massive upset in a cup?
Mate, look at when Wrexham beat Arsenal.
Yeah,
Wrexham beat Arsenal. Millwall got to a final. Portsmouth got to a final. You don't see it often anymore. I know Southampton beat you last season. That was an upset, but not in the grand scheme of things compared to back in the day when the real smaller teams like Hereford and teams like that were winning games.
Yeah. Teams. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Wigan winning the FA Cup. That was a massive upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the last real one.
But it's rare nowadays, isn't it? Like
And
I feel like it was a lot more. It was a lot more common, and it probably is because teams are so focused on getting the revenues in. And you know what? You could potentially look at FFP. And is FFP a part to play for that? Because if you're a club and say, well, we want to do this or we want to do that, right? But we have to get this amount of money in revenue, otherwise we will get fined. Okay, so then the manager goes, right, no worries. By the way, I'm thinking of we're not going to get relegated, so I'm going to rotate the team a couple of weeks in the Premier League to focus on the Carabao Cup because I want to win a trophy. Means we might drop 4 or 5 spots. We'll be fine, but we'll have a good cup run. The owner will go, hang on a minute. That's going to cost us X amount of money. And if we do that, we might breach FFP. That's a fine. That's potentially a points deduction. All for what? A cup that you're probably not going to win. And even if you do win it,
that off and we can finish in this position, then we can get more money and then we'll call with it. Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. That is a great point, man. Yeah, look, Birmingham beating Arsenal. Yeah, Birmingham beating Arsenal. I'll never forget that. Barnsley beating Chelsea and Liverpool in 08 to get to a semi. I don't see it very often anymore. And you're right. Absolutely spot on. That's a fantastic point, bro. Before we wrap this up, people, we are going to quickly go through the Manc Derby. I take it you're extremely confident after we've sat for half an hour of this show, absolutely decimating and ruining Man United. I take it you're expecting a light work afternoon on Sunday, just walking around tippy-tappying through their dead midfield and
I have to
goalkeeper.
No, I have to because I'm struggling to see what could cause us a problem, because if City don't win the game, just like last year, it won't be because of United, it'll be because of ourselves. Like, we can all blame the referee last year for the stupid decision he gave for the goal that they equalised with. It was clearly offside. But ultimately, City just weren't good enough on the day, and the reason they weren't good enough on the day was because of the defence. The defence is sorted for this game. John Stones is there, Gvardiol's there, Diaz is there. We're going to be able to get the ball forward. Okay, we're missing Kevin De Bruyne. So I could potentially look at the midfield and say, do we have enough creativity? But you still got Alvarez. You still got Foden in there. You know, the wings, Grealish had a great game last night. Best game of the season. Created 3 big chances. Excellent. Doku's firing. Bernardo can play right wing. So other than the midfield, will they create enough? Which I have to say, I believe they'll create enough. I struggle to look at it and say, where is the obvious problem for my club facing United? Because we're not going to go out there, clash and lose to a team that plays the same way. We are going to cause ourselves problems if we lose the game, just like we did last year with our own issues. So I'm very confident. I'm confident we'll get the win. And if we get the win, then I'm buzzing, because, of course, next week you guys play Newcastle and we play Bournemouth. So hopefully then that could be a potential week that it flips a little bit and we could potentially get some points. Obviously, you're hoping that United do something this week. We're hoping something similar next week. But yeah, man, I've got to be confident. Man. Yeah, I can't see them doing much. I can't
see anything other than a City rampage. I can't lie. Yeah, and then people are trying to spin it up. Sky Sports are trying to do all the hype and the drama. They love a bit of drama down at Sky. They're trying to hype it up. You know, oh yeah, Harry Maguire and Nana. Oh, look, right before the derby, they're in form. It's a great confidence boost. No, it ain't. It ain't. Because you know Erling Haaland's going to get a chance, and you know it's in the back of the net. Yeah, you know Doku's going to play, and he's going to absolutely skin whoever he's up against. Yeah, it's just whether he can deliver. Yeah, because that guy, if he can polish up his final ball, he's going to be a top player. Yeah, he's so quick, so strong. Yeah, but needs to polish up his final ball. But he's super raw, man. And like, I think Pep's probably the best manager for him, because if Pep can't get a tune out of him in the next 18 months, he'll bin him. Yeah, he's been better wingers than him, but I do think that he gives you something different, that Doku. Then Grealish as well, like you said, had a good game the other night. Foden's having a decent season as well. So yeah, I can't see any problems, man. When I look at your defence, I know you conceded the other night, but I just look at your defence. I think, well, how are they going to get through that? You've got Kyle Walker up against Rashford. Well, that's 1-0 to Walker, then, isn't it? It's like, let's be real with it. Yeah, and then you've got Vardiel on the other side. He's probably going to be up against Anthony. Well, that's now another avenue closed down for United. So where they go and get their goals from? Not Bruno. Really? Yeah, good one. Rodri has sit him down every time he gets the ball. You know, I just don't see how they get anything out of that game, mate. I just don't see it.
I'm the same. I'm going in confident, but it's not arrogance. It's not like, oh, these are shit. I just don't see, like against Arsenal. I went to the Arsenal game. I could give you 1,000,001 ways that Arsenal could have scored in that game. I could give you problems that City would have, right? In this game, I go into it and I'm like, the only possible thing that could go wrong for us is that our attacking midfielders just have a really, really shocking day. But then the wingers have to have a shocking day. So that's 4 players. 4 players are just going to knock.
And then they've got to hope Rodri don't come up clutch.
Well, exactly, yeah. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? He comes up in big games a lot, mate. So I just don't see it. Yeah, they can maybe keep Haaland quiet. Haaland's quiet a lot of games. Barely gets a kick in some games. But you put a chance in the box, 9 times out of 10 it's in the goal. So
yeah, apparently Casemiro's not fit for this either.
1 second, bro. Somebody's at my door. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just seeing this guys as well. Apparently Casemiro's not fit. There was some rumors going around that he might have made it, but apparently, has Ten Hag just done his press conference or something and said that he's not fit. Here it is. We will do everything. He will do everything he can to be part of the game, to start the game, but we have to see. We'll have some hours to go. So that ain't looking good, bruv, to be honest with you, if you're a United fan. So Casemiro don't look like he's going to be there. Who's going to play there then? Amrabat. What's the fucking Scottish lad called? McTominay. Man, honestly, guys, it's a madness. I don't even know what's going to happen. I just think we don't beat them, man. Honestly, if we don't beat them, I'm going to be shocked because I just don't see how we don't win the game. I'd be so shocked. How do we not win the game? It's a madness. I'm doing combined 11s. I'm not putting a single Man United player in. You know what I mean? I can't hold the L. I can't hold the L if we don't win. I honestly can't, man. It's crazy. It's actually a madness. Yeah, no Casemiro, which is wild. Jesus and party out for weeks apart, says John. Yeah, I've seen that before. That's a bit of a madness, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going on there with United. Evans versus Haaland, isn't it? Yeah, so it's going to be Maguire and Johnny Evans against Haaland. I mean, who knows? I mean, some defenders have been getting a bit of joy out of Haaland, getting physical. And Maguire's obviously a big, tall, strong guy. Maybe he'll get physical on him as well. But I know Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire, I can only back one guy there. You know what I mean? And it ain't either of them two.
Facts. Yeah, sorry about that. Somebody was in the door.
Yeah, no, man.
Get these cold callers coming around. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no speak English. No speak Spanish. No Espanol.
No habla español. And you say it in Spanish and it confuses them. But no, they were trying to flog me a security system. But he was quite tidy, so I kept her chatting for a couple of minutes. But yeah, listen, big up to everybody who's tuned in, man. It's been a good show as always. Time flies. Hour and 10 minutes nearly. I'm going live with Rants in 45 minutes. It's going to redirect to Rants' show. Spam the like, spam the chat. Lewis, what you got coming up, man?
Yeah, so I did a little video earlier on where I had a bit of a rant, and then
what are you ranting about, man? Man City is perfect.
Because I tell you what I was ranting, bro, because we got the Manchester derby on Sunday, and then today we got journalists coming out saying Kevin De Bruyne looks like he might go Saudi Arabia in the summer. And then yesterday we had Alvarez is leaving for 80 million. And I was just like, fuck's sake, man. But anyway, and then later on, yeah, me and a guy called Dan, United fan, are going to do a little preview this evening at 7 o'clock or 7:30ish. I'm on Saeed's channel actually at 6:30 as well. And
there you go. Plenty of content to come up, people. I'll be doing a watch along tonight after the show with Rants. I'm going to do a Spurs away game to Palace under the lights at Selhurst Park. That's not going to be easy for that lot, that's for sure. So we're all Palace tonight. just to see their bubble burst and then realise that they're not in the title race. And yeah, I'm here for it. But anyway, people, good show. Make sure you sub to Lewis, link in the title. It's going to redirect to Rants. Go and spam the chat. Lee Gunner sent me and all of that, or Lee Gunner raid. And we're out of here, people. I'll be on Rance's channel at 45. Laters.